There's a line in the commentary track for Nick the Feature Film that really resonates with me. Jason Steele says in regards to the film, I kind of like the idea of adding depth to what is essentially a terrible movie. I love this line, and it's really how I view pretty much everything in my life, especially when it comes to things I view to make the angry monkeys in my brain stop crying. Alright, so here's the thing when it comes to TV and film. No matter how stupid the idea is, as long as you take it seriously, it can come out really good. Like that time I tried to create a cooking show. That's probably a major part of the appeal of Ex-Aid, for me at least. Okay, so I want to talk about Ex-Aid now that it's over, so let's just get started. There are three major points I want to talk about, that being the suit designs, the doctor themes, and the writing. We're going one at a time here, so strap in. Starting off with what I loved right off the bat. A lot of people didn't like it very much. We got the suit designs, the level 1 suits, the fat baby suits. Alright, so these were part of the gimmick for the toy line, and every season in the Heisei period has a weird toy line. But this one is unique because it's so weird. So the fat baby suits are used in the show to separate the patients from the video game virus that's infecting them. Sure, cool, yeah, why not? Then when the video game virus pops out of patients, as represented by a guy with a roasted chicken for a head, the Kamen Rider reveals his regular form. In Ex-Aid's case, it's a pink and green guy with anime eyes wearing a Nickelodeon alarm clock as adults. Only he's an adult. Like me. A real-life adult. Great. Okay, so we get away from the fat baby toys only to get to other toy suits. Whatever. Remember the 90s? Remember video games? They were great, right? Let's talk about 90s video games for like 45 episodes. Okay, these are real doctors here. Dressing up as their favorite late 80s NES characters. You have the main character, he's pink like Kirby, he spins like Sonic, he jumps like Mario, he's all the basic mascots. Then you have the other guys like Final Fantasy Boy, No Scope 360, I'm a Motorcycle Boy, and Ex-Aid, but he's a bad guy? No, he's a bad guy, because he's black, darker color. Okay. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but let's talk about these characters for a bit. Bicycle Boy dies on Christmas, and it's very sad. Luckily, Ex-Aid keeps its corpse around and rides it like a bicycle. You know, it's great. It's very sad. Whatever. They all get power-ups from other games, like Ex-Aid gets to pretend he's Mike Tyson Punch-Out, Swords Guy gets to play DDR for a bit, Gun Guy gets to be a shmup. It's great. It's really, it's Retro Pie the show, only covered in Dayglow stickers like Zack and Slater wearing buddy bands. Everybody remember that show? A bunch of video games, and nobody really cares about copyright, especially not this guy. Please don't sue me over copyrighted images. This is a review. Doctor themes. Okay, so this shows like 90s video games crossed with Scrubs. Yeah. Look, you have the coroner, he died. You have the surgeon, he's like Dr. Cox. You have the other guy, the main character is basically JD. Except the main character is basically JD, but instead of having those moments where he looks off into the distance and daydreams, everyone just yells at him and his life sucks. Everyone hates him, even he hates himself. This is an actual plot point to the show. See this guy? His name is Brad. His whole shtick, revealed halfway through the series, is that he is the main character's other half. He's a game virus that infected Emma and allows him to turn into Ex-Aid. The neon butters, if you will, for all you South Park fans, he's the neon. Ex-Aid at one point gets a power-up that lets him split into two people who immediately beat each other up. You know, kind of like my heart whenever I think about the Care Bears. I don't know what character from Scrubs Parade is. The janitor, I guess. It's not really anything like Scrubs, but that's really the only other doctor show I can watch. Like, none of the others really do it for me. I'm not gonna sit through every single episode of Grey's Anatomy just to figure out, oh, well, that rubber suit guy is Grey, and that rubber suit guy is Anatomy. Side note, I did see a book about the character Anatomy from Grey's Anatomy at, like, the Barnes & Noble. There weren't any cranes in it or any sad scenes or anything. It's just images of body parts and some guy talking about how much he hates no-no parts. I don't care. It's not like Scrubs. I'm sorry, Sandra. Oh, you were great as a Canadian hooker, though. The doctor stuff only comes into play in like 3 or 4 episodes anyway. Sure, they're always dressed up like doctors, but that doesn't mean they're actually doctors. Like that time on Care Bears where Grumpy was dressed like a doctor. I mean, I could dress like a Care Bear. That doesn't make me a Care Bear now, does it? There's like maybe 3 surgeries in the show, but they're not dressed as Kamen Riders during those scenes, so it really doesn't matter. Listen, unless the surgery is interrupted by a guy on a motorcycle bursting out of a chest cavity, it's just not important. Okay, so I didn't bring this up earlier, but it's important. Themes. Okay, so every Kamen Rider has an overall theme they're going for. With Decade, the theme is the riders just, they hate you. Writing. If you're watching Decade, the writers want you to know that you're bad, that you're a bad person. You know, with Gaim though, the theme was like Adam and Eve and like fruits. With Ex-Aid, the theme was like split personalities and Nickelodeon guts and duality of man. I don't know. I guess that's a better way of putting it. It's like Billy and Jimmy Lee, only nobody wants to date Marion and they just want to ride motorcycles. You have the main example with Emu and Parade. How Emu by himself is meek but wants to be a good doctor, and how his gamer personality, Genius Gamer M, is like some guy who wants to play games but is grumpy. And how his gamer personality, Genius Gamer M, is grumpy about it to the point where you just want to buy him an ice cream. You have that with all the main characters. Hero wants to be the top surgeon in the world and save everyone's lives, but at the same time, misses his girlfriend and you want to buy him cakes. Then you have the corner guy who wants to study the bugsters, really get to know them, but also he's dead. Okay, you know what this reminds me of, and this is the dumbest comparison. Hear me out. There was a movie in 2008 called Reiko the Genetic Opera, where in the future human organs are like movie rentals. If you can't pay the late fees, this guy comes and takes them back. Like, even if you're eating ice creams and cakes, he comes and takes your organs, and you're like, dude, cut it out. And he's like, I'm trying. I bring this up because the Repo Man is essentially portrayed as 2 separate characters. You have his doctor and paternal side, caring, nurturing, and then he puts on the mask and he changes in speech and mannerisms and his singing tones. You know, like my dad when he drinks. Without you here, I am only living out a lie. I am the monster. I am the villain. What perfection? What precision? Keen incisions. I deliver unscathed organs. I deliver repossessions. I deliver. I'm the repo legal assassin. Essentially, the actor is playing two different characters, often in the same scene, changing the meaning of a single line by repeating it in a different tone. Imagine that in neon colors without singing and with foam swords, and they have a motorcycle, and again, this is not a good metaphor. I am bad at metaphors. I'm also bad at Megatrons. Hey, so let's talk writing for a second. Writing is hard, but you know what else is hard? Segways? Okay, so there's a term floating around online right now, Kino. It basically means like a really, really good movie or something. Look, this is an English-speaking review of a Japanese show, and right now I think this is a Russian word, Kino. Alright, whatever. I think it just means the word cinema or something. So, hear me out. Episode 39 of Ex-Aid is my favorite episode, alright? The writing is good, the scenes are great. Throughout the episode you have these clips of Prod drowning, showing how he feels helpless and is finally seeing value in life because his is ending. The main villain affects Taiga's sidekick with Prod's virus and tells him that the only way that he can cure him is if he kills Prod. But if you kill Prod, he doesn't have the ability to transform anymore, because remember, the Prod virus is in the... Anyway.
ニコを救うにはケムデウスにたどり着かなきゃいけないんだ。決めは落ち着け。分かった。君の言う通りだ。クロノスのガシャットを壊せば患者は治る。これで満足だろう。君の変身能力を失うわけにはいかないんだ。やめろ。さよなら、パラド。パラド。俺の勝ちだ。パラドが死んだ。自分が何をしたか分かってるのか。君はもうエグゼイトに変身できない。取り返しのつかないことをしたんだぞ。
M。
Parad is dead. Emo can't turn into Ex-Aid. We don't know what is going to happen. It's beautiful. And I wouldn't change a thing. Well, ignore all that. He comes back to life in the next episode. Like nothing happened. Like someone just handed a controller to the idiot cousin who wanted to play the Nintendo, but they kept dying on stage 1-1. So you sneakily switched controllers and left his unplugged and told him he was playing until you beat the game. See, this is my main issue with Ex-Aid. The entire episode with a perfect writing and symbolism could be skipped entirely. Everyone just comes back to life, so there's no point. Motorcycle Boy dies in episode 12. But he comes back to life in episode 38. Parad dies and comes back. Poppy dies and comes back. Evil Ex-Aid dies and comes back like 99 times. He actually has a life counter. Though, to be fair, I kind of like that. Dan is the only one who's actually makes any sense because he had this long, convoluted plan with all these intricate details that he laid out since the beginning, long before he died. But the entire thing is rendered completely pointless and undermined by the fact that Kiria, the bike boy, just comes back, doesn't do anything. He's just there, you know. He doesn't even transform half the time. It's kind of like, it's like Animorphs, right? I know, another great metaphor, but hear me out. Again, at the end of the first book, you have Tobias, and he's stuck as a hawk. For several books, he's just kind of there, as a hawk. Everyone else is doing stuff, but he's just a hawk, eating worms and small woodland creatures, and no ice creams. That's Kiria. Everyone is doing stuff, and Kiria is also there. Oh, sure, after like 8 episodes, he does one thing. He kills Dan a bunch, but again, Dan has 99 lives. So, pointless. You know, in the final episode, they put a chicken head on him. Just, he gets infected by the bugsters, but like, why didn't he transform and outrun them? He turns into a motorcycle. That's the thing they did? They put a chicken on him? Can we talk about the last episode, actually, while we're on the topic? Rhetorical question anyway. I mean, this is my video, so what are you gonna do? The last episode tries to be bittersweet, and they have Emu read off a list of all the patients they killed because he's the worst doctor superhero ever. As he's reading this list of all the people who died very solemnly and trying to take it seriously, you can see the people who died, you know, actually reacting to it. You know, you see the people who died and came back to life, being moved by his words. It seems like the writers actually are trying to take death seriously for a second and realize that you can't bring everyone back to life, but it undermines the actual deaths of the characters. Moments after the speech, they bring back 2 people who died. They just bring them back to life and try to end on a happy note. Happy moment that undermines the entire speech that they just did. They can't even take that part seriously. And that brings me back to the original point of this review. If you take a stupid idea and take it seriously, it can be good. Like ice creams. But if you take a stupid idea and make it stupider, it becomes bad. Like my parents' marriage. Listen, there was a point in all this, but I forget what it was. I'm just gonna... I want ice creams. Alright, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, click that like button, wash your ears. It's not cheating if you're eating. Donate to Africa. Drink your Ovaltine. Click that little bell down there, you know. It makes me tingle when you do. You know that old phrase, every time a bell rings, I eat ice creams? I'm so tired. Stay tuned to my channel. We're going to talk Kamen Rider Build next week, and maybe more about, you know, the sadness. Alright, bye you spicy boys.